just a good old boy.
Alright, y'all, working on the KUHNS today. Got in the parts that they sent, part of them. They got some more stuff on the way. We'll start with these. These are the Alright, y'all, we're working on the KUHNS accumulator today. We got these hay string deflectors in from KUHNS. They sent me, this is part of the updated parts. I have still got some more on the way. They sent these hay string deflectors to go on the turning forks. They also sent me new trip levers for the tailgate and switches. Then we also have a weight, which is the cautionary sign. They made this into a weight. It is a, I think that's a 1/8 thick steel plate. It weighs 5 pounds. These switches and stuff have been, the angle at which they work has been moved just a hair to where that way it'll make sure it catches that trip lever on the updated parts. These are all updated parts that come on the new ones. Alright, so let's get started. We'll put these string deflectors on first. Or actually, you know what? Let's put the weight on. We'll put the weight on. Put y'all somewhere where y'all can see. And the original sign actually fell off. It broke out. Which it was just a regular old cautionary sign that was just made out of like aluminum or galvanized or something, and it weighed like nothing. It didn't weigh anything. Well, this is here is a thick steel plate that weighs 5 pounds, and it's supposed to help with my issue of, if it works, it is an experiment that they're doing to see if it'll work. My issue with this tailgate not closing when I'm either in real heavy hay or I'm going uphill and it not getting enough momentum as it closes to shut. So then by it hanging back this far off of the tailgate, it's right here, it's going to give it more leverage from back here versus just putting weights on the tailgate. So it basically makes it to where you don't have to have as much weight because it gets that more leverage by sticking back further. And it's pretty cool because you can't tell it that it's even on there by the way it's made. So we're going to stick this on. That'll have the updated experimental weight on. We're going to put these other pieces of string deflectors on. I'm going to talk a little bit about these and maybe why some people has more issues with it than others. Just a second here. It comes with self-tapping screws to put these on and instructions of how to place these on. Let's see. Of how to place these on the Ys. So basically what this does, and what happens is when this Y is here with an inline baler, because the bales in the inline are a little bit taller and they're a little bit narrower versus the side delivery is a little bit wider and a little bit shorter. They both equal out to be the same size, but for whatever reason that's just the way the design is. So the inline bales are actually a little taller, closer to these Ys. So what happens is the bale comes down and turns sideways in here. These springs that are on these keep working at those strings, and the string will slip up over this Y right here and it will catch. Well, then when it dumps, it can't go back no further than that, and that string hangs on this and it winds up and drags the bell and hangs the tailgate open and everything else. So KUHNS come up with these little string deflectors, they call them. On the new ones, they're welded on, but on the older models, you can get these and put them on to solve this issue. And that's what I am doing right now, is we're going to mount these string deflectors. Crap. Oh God, it's a crap show. We're going to mount these string deflectors on to prevent the string from I may have to take a drill bit. These are self-tapping screws, but I may wind up and have to take a drill bit and do it. It's because I ain't got no help to stand here and hold this thing while I push in on it. Let me try it right here now that I got it marked. If I can keep from dropping the dang thing. Good grief. Yeah, I might wind up have to drill these. Man, these things are made out of good steel. There we go. Now, take this screw, and push it back around, and I dropped the damn thing again. This is plumb embarrassing. All right. There we go. So now there's a string deflector. So we got that on there now. That's going to prevent those strings from sliding over the top of those arms anymore and dragging. So let's try this weight out. See, it closed back under its own. That's huge. And that thing closed back just by kicking it. A lot heavier. See, it's closing now on its own, and you don't even have issues. That'd be a lot better, wouldn't it?
Yep.
So I hadn't used it yet, but I think that's going to be a good fix. And there's the twine deflectors on, so now we won't have to worry about those hanging anymore. Now we got to work on the switch. Okay, we got to put this, take this off now. We got to get in here and work on this piece right here. This is what trips this piece to work over. We got to move it to get it and replace it now. So let's see, y'all, right there. You should be able to see what I'm doing. Break this loose. I gotta undo this spring. Excuse me. Proper way to do this is probably to undo that eye hook, but I'm cheating. There it comes off. Now that piece is off. Now I gotta go pull out the switch, the trip lever, whatever you want to call it, and then we'll see what the difference is. Pull this out. There it is. We'll see what's different here. So the new one, I don't know if y'all can see that on camera or not. But the new one's flat, a little bit flatter, and this one's cocked just ever so slightly. Not a whole lot the other way. It's not even really enough to notice, but it is a little bit different. And then the bolt holes, and this one, which clamps down on it, try to line it up here. Is off by about that much. So it's about a pin thickness off on the new one versus the old one. They sent me a new bolt too, so we'll stick these on, which doesn't appear to be much out here, but when you stick it on the accumulator between the two of them, it's probably half an inch or inch or so difference in what it'll pull versus the other one. Okay, so let's go put these on. Hold that. Nope, that one. Drop this in here. So there's that. Here's this. Set y'all right back in here. And let's see. Wait a minute. How was it that thing went? That goes back out. This thing in here. Now I've got to tighten it up. Hey. Hook this spring back up. Yeah. There it is. Got the spring in. There. Now, make sure this thing's still on. Yep. So now we got the new trip on. What it does is it pulls this bar over onto the trip. Fixes it where it'll trip that thing. Don't appear to be a whole lot, but we'll see what it does and how it'll work. But only time will tell. But that's got the new trip on, the new Y pieces. Now these tap bolts, I put them in wrong. They're actually supposed to be on the inside, But I put them on the outside because it's easier. I don't think there'll be any difference, but if there is, I'll swap them. But the right way to do it is to put them on the inside. All right, today's a couple days later. I finally got time to put these on. These actually came the next day after we got it all the other parts on. But these are the new panels. They're shorter than the other ones. The other ones came out to about there. And they're also shorter here. They're not as tall either. Hey, get down. You're gonna hurt yourself. They're not as tall either. These are the new springs. Here they have the bend in them. These are designed to where they'll help the hay flow faster. Get down, monkey. You're gonna get hurt. Get down. Stand on that red, don't slide. You will slide on that silver stuff. Get down. So we got the new panels and the new springs put in. Now I'm gonna just move the flaps in on each side. I push these in to help narrow the packs up some. I could actually go a good bit more on these, but I set them here. We're gonna see how it does with it there. I moved it in quite a bit because it was all the way over here even with this post on this one. And but I moved it in probably 2 inches. Now I've got to reset these Ys because these Ys are set off of these panels wherever you put them, and you have to adjust these. They have a height adjustment and an in and out adjustment. We'll go over here to the book and look at this. Get down here that way, y'all make sure y'all can see. If you can see that, you adjust the in and out first on these two turning forks. They call them forks. I call them Ys. But you come down here and you pull a straight edge off of this panel wherever it comes straight down off of it to the tailgate. You go over 7.5 inches and you go up to the Y, and that's how you set it. And then you also have to set from the deck to the pipe to 11.5. So 7.5 in and out, and then 11.5 high. So what I did, now I already set this, I took a framing square to pull a straight edge on that panel right there to this tailgate to get it right. Let's see, and set it 7.5 in, and I laid the edge of the framing square all the way up again there so it's flat. I know it's true, and then I come over on it 7.5 inches out here and marked it. So then what I did is I took, it's a long distance across there to that Y. I took this framing level that I used in the house, and I just laid it up again there flat. I know it's true straight, and then I matched it with the Y when it's true straight, and then there it is. It's 7.5 out from where it's supposed to be exactly. And the way you adjust those, I'll show y'all that. It has these bolts right here with slots to move this piece in and out. You can use those, but the issue is these things get bumped around and moved, and over time they'll move in and out. So what I did, and what KUHNS recommended to me to do, was to take some machine washers, if y'all can see that, and stack them in there. I went and bought 6 for each side, so that way I'd have enough. And I put those in there till I got it exactly where it needed to be. Now, that set the in and out. Where's my tape? Oh, here's my tape measure. So to set the depth, what you do is you come here on top of the deck, take a tape, and you stick it right there. Now on the depth, it shows it to be kind of a little less than centered on that pipe at 11.5, and that's where this one was, so I didn't move it, and it's been working fine like it was. It does change height as the pitch of the Y moves, so the further you get it in and out, the higher or lower it's going to be. So at where it's at, I think it'll be fine, and according to the drawing and the way it looks, that's perfect. And the way you adjust that is there's 2 Allen head set screws on the top and on the bottom of each one of these pillar, I think they're called little pillar blocks or pillar collars, that you loosen, and then you can move this up and down either way to set it, and that'll set it. For whatever reason, I don't know why, this one's always needed to be higher. When I first got it, it was way lower, and it wouldn't, the adjustments on it were not right. And to put it to where it should be 11.5 at the bottom, I'd have to go even higher, and I think I'm as high as it'll go now. I don't know why it was like that, but that's what their book calls for. Ever since I adjusted those, it really helped everything go to working right too. And it is right there, you can see it, that line is really right in the center of that pipe. I don't know if it's coming across good on the camera or not. And then when you do this one at 7.5, it shows it cutting that corner just a hair, which is what I did on it too with that straight edge. I made sure it just cut it just a hair across the corner right here, this pipe. And that's where it's supposed to be set. I've got that side done. I'm gonna move on to this side. Alrighty, here it is done. I got her all squared away. I painted the tops with the easy slide graphite based coating, or it's graphite based paint's what it is. I did the top from the top down to the sides, and the reason why I did that, if I cut it out of the video to shorten it up so much, I might have, is because when we're spraying it with the preservative, it makes the hay a little more tacky than it usually would be, so it sometimes can stick right up in here in this area as it slides down. So because it's making that turn, so what I did is I sprayed all that up there with graphite. I did leave these little triangles right here coming down. If it is a problem, I'll go ahead and spray those too, and these rails down the center, but I've never had any issues with those because they come straight down. Got recoated these runners here and resprayed the lighter spots on the bottom decking parts from where I coated those back in the spring. Did the same thing with this side. Everything's on it. The Y's, or not Y's, the forks that they call them. Got the string deflectors on. I got these set to 11.5 inches up and down, 7.5 in and out. I got my shields to where I think they need to be to pull my hay groupings together. I went ahead and I greased everything, which I normally do anyway. I put the 5 pound 1/8 thick cautionary sign weight that is experimentals on for the tailgate. You can see it doesn't even it can never even leave the hooks, and it'll still reclose itself, which is perfect. I think that's going to work good, but we'll see. Got everything set the way it needs to be. Got the updated springs on. Got the new plates on. Them set where they need to be. All the trip lever stuff's where it needs to be. And that should have us squared away as far as everything goes. Both of those pieces are on there. I tuned it up and got everything set like I think it needs to be to work right. And position. I think that this thing's going to work great. I think that the way I've got it set, knock on wood, cross your fingers, whatever. I think the way I've got it set up, theoretically, it should work perfectly now. But I'm very excited to see how this thing does. So thank y'all for watching. Please comment, rate, and subscribe. Stay tuned for more.